Hey, what's up, you guys? Bloody Jacob here.
Hey, what's up, you guys? Bloody Jacob here.
Jacob here, meeting my icon, Catherine Isabel, Daniel Lorenzo.
Wait, what did you say?
Daniel Lorenzo.
Have a good one.
You guys better subscribe and watch my friend on his YouTube channel. He is kicking ass.
In the dark past, humans were their prey, and blood was their life.
I'm Radu. Find him before killing begins again.
Now in modern-day Transylvania, eternal evil has reawakened.
I'm afraid for you. She makes me want again. I must destroy him.
Subspecies, starring Michael Watson and Angus Scrimm of Phantasm. Subspecies. The night has fangs.
What's up, you guys? Bloody Jacob here to bring you my review of two horror films called Subspecies and its sequel, Subspecies 2 Bloodstone.
Since the dawn of evil, they have prowled the night, feasting on blood and the sins of our flesh. The heart of their power lies in the Bloodstone. Now, a woman who has tasted its nightmares must choose between death and damnation.
You are my Philipsling. Embrace me as your master, and all that is mine will be yours.
Becky, I don't want to be like him.
What is your relationship to Miss Morgan?
She's my sister.
The vampire Radu is here in Bucharest, and your sister is his disciple.
Michelle, please. Let me help you. Nothing can help me now.
Bloodstone was stolen from me. You're going to make an exceptional plaything.
Bloodstone, Subspecies 2.
So yeah, Subspecies. This series is one I have been sort of meaning to talk about for a little while now. I watched the first film a good number of months ago, and I just watched the sequel tonight, the first sequel, Bloodstone. And I thought now was time to talk about it. When I watched the first film, I sort of had mixed thoughts on it. We'll get to that in a couple minutes here. I had watched it on Hulu, But tonight I was looking for something to watch, and for some reason I remembered the movie, and I honestly felt some kind of pull to finally watch the second film. But unfortunately, it appears like Hulu decided to screw me over, and they have taken the films off, as far as I know. Luckily, though, someone on YouTube posted the whole second film, without the annoying zoomed in crop thing, to avoid copyright and such. But so I was able to finally watch the sequel tonight, and I'm honestly pretty glad I did. These movies aren't going to appeal to everyone's tastes in horror for sure, but for me, I'm growing to appreciate them more and more. I like the first film overall, minus some issues throughout. The second film, I thought it was just a bit better, and I'm actually pretty eager to see where the story goes, because there's a third film. I think they did a spin-off to try tie in other characters to it, and then the fourth and final film. I'm actually kind of looking forward to it, and I'm surprised because both of these films on the series in general, they're done on a fairly low budget. But their advantage is they actually filmed in Romania on location, so that's good to see. Even though it's not the most expensive equipment, it's still good to see on location, and just seeing the environment a little bit and everything. The castles, used as instead of just handmade sets and such, for the most part anyway. And Blood Species, it tells the story of this evil sort of old vampire called Radu, and it's hard to explain. I guess I should just read the IMDb description. The evil vampire villain Radu returns to his hometown after spending years in exile. He steals the precious Bloodstone, which is said to be bleeding from All Saints, from his father. Meanwhile, two American schoolgirls team up with a local girl for work on Romanian culture. Radu becomes attracted to them but runs into trouble, and his brother Stefan, however you want to say it, not Vampire Diaries Stefan, so don't get that mixed up. His brother Stefan helps the girls. So, like I said, it's low budget, it's sort of campy, people are going to think it's cheesy, some may, like my girlfriend, I showed her a trailer for, she kind of laughed. I don't know, you gotta be a real horror fan to, appreciate these kinds of films, honestly. Now, I'm not, I'm not saying it's, perfect, but, I'm not saying these films are without faults either. But for me, these films and just sort of the character of Radu, he reminds me of sort of like a classic, monster type character, like your Dracula, and just sort of the style of these films reminds me of. It's kind of like a throwback to those older, sort of like Universal horror movies. So if you enjoy those, I think you can appreciate, kind of the way this is done. Budget aside, I think it kind of goes for that. And Radu, I actually already think he's a lot more interesting and entertaining to watch than characters from some of those movies, actually, personally. Anders Hove plays him, and I think he did a really, really nice job. He really embodies this character and his, villainy, you could say, but he goes all out with his expressions and just sort of his mannerisms and the way he moves as the character. I think it's really cool. He's one of those horror characters I've, kind of missed seeing, in a way that he stands out. He's not just another Freddy, or Jason or something like that. He's kind of a toss back to some of those older vampire characters like Dracula, but he feels like something all on his own too, and I appreciate the effort put into that. Sure, now sometimes I feel like he goes a little bit overboard, almost into camp territory with some of his more over-the-top expressions when he's surprised or in pain. It's I don't know. But overall, I am kind of impressed with how much he stood out to me, and I kind of want to see more of it, but I don't want the movies to end yet. And there's other films I have to watch too, but I was really impressed by him, and honestly, I'm trying to look up everything I can about him. And I'm pretty much going to be tweeting to horror conventions I go to now to try and invite Anders Hove and stuff like that. These films were also produced by I think a studio owned by Charles Band, who's done a lot of different work like that. He was at Flashback Weekend when I went this year, but little did I know he actually had his hand in these Subspecies movies, and I hadn't seen the sequel yet, so it didn't really come to mind. And apparently, from what I read, also the general idea for the story was something that came from him, I guess. I could be wrong about that. But yeah, another thing about this film, besides the on-set or the on-location element, is the way it's shot. I think it's actually pretty good, especially when it comes to Radu and his stalking scenes and stuff like that. There's some actually pretty nice and eerie shots when he's walking down like a hallway or just a pathway, and you see him like that. But then there's also even better ones that are like really like sort of Nosferatu like. You can kind of see his like claws and everything just going past the wall. And that's done in another really cool way too in the sequel, which we'll talk more about in a couple minutes, where you see how he sort of teleports or how he moves around as quickly as he does, sort of this shadow element, and you see it kind of come up over whatever building or area he's going to be having fun in. So I really like that as well. And the look of the character, again, I really like. I already showed this picture here, but I think it's kind of cool, the makeup and everything. Probably cheesy for some, cheap looking for some, but I kind of appreciate the design of it. And there's also some good practical effects in these movies so far too. There's bad CGI though, don't get me wrong, because he has these little minions that kind of help him at various points. When he's damaged or something, especially at the end of the movies and such. They're just full-on CGI. They look like little CGI demonic ape type things. I don't really know why they went with that. But besides that, they use practical effects and different sort of, let's see. Yeah, rod puppet and some stop motion techniques were used, it says here, which I think actually works. I don't know why they used CGI for those minions. But besides that, again, some good practical effects stuff. I'm assuming you've seen these two movies if you're watching this video. But when Radu is decapitated at the end of the first movie, we see him, of course, being